Welcome to another video on my walking robot Mirft2, based on the fischertechnik TXT controller running embedded Linux and programmed via secure shell in Python, using touch sensors on front as well as a USB camera to take images of these objects. Also present battery pack, which is for the moment for show. It is connected via the wire, but it's not freshly charged, and this first focus of this video is not to let it run. And if you look here, these are stable and this is not stable, so that doesn't really make sense. The problem is that after the major reconstruction of recent times, where I added 2 motors and I stabilized everything, same as this, I noticed that it still won't run nicely. So the model I created earlier using Blender showed me that the setup of the gears is not exactly the way I modeled it. So 5 gears here, 2 gears in front below, which connect directly to the motor. And the same way here, of course. So my Blender model isn't quite accurate. Also, I found out that I can put all parts that I used in the model to real metric sizes. Although the example online that I found to do that doesn't match with my version, so that's another problem. Also, I want to not just model it, I want to simulate. And I can't really simulate in Blender, so I'm using Gazebo, or I intend to use Gazebo for that. And that is what I want to introduce this time. Last time that didn't work out. Now I found a nice tutorial that showed me, so hopefully that will work out. First of all though, using the AC adapter, I want to boot and see if I can make contact. So while using the AC adapter, I will have no worries on breaking any contact. So it will go offline like last time. And then I will have to log in using the secure shell. So when this has booted, I will show the software side. And I will also have to go to the ordinary graphical user interface, because I am using the community firmware, but I can only grab pictures using the default user interface. Don't ask me why. I didn't develop it, but I'm happy to use it. So let's now find how the software might go working. Right, so first thing is to log in and see if I can make contact anyway. And this shows that I cannot. This is taking too much time, which means that I have to reboot the controller. So while that happens, introduction for now. First of all, obviously the camera with a view of the robot and objects. Command line interface window. A code window where I display all the code that I've written. Display for ImageMagick. All the images that are grabbed are sent to the computer, and with ImageMagick command display I put them on screen. Robot Pro, the graphical programming language that comes with fischertechnik, but I only use it for testing purposes. Then I have Blender, which I've used to create a model which is not entirely accurate. So to make it look like this one, I have to turn it around. And then you see that some things are not exactly the way they are in reality. Then mesh, a mesh file where, or more appropriate, a world file that contains a mesh file. And this is going to be used in Gazebo, where I'm going to try to simulate. And this command is set ready for loading it. But first of all, I want to get into the controller, which I have to reboot. So, yep, now it's off, so I can reboot it. In the meantime, I will try to load Gazebo World, because I can't connect, so I can't test using Robot Pro. This one I got from the tutorial, where I had to replace the standard file with my own file name from, very important, from the directory in which it is, in which the file is. So let's see if that is working out. And then I see that it has completely booted. So going back to the robot for now. Let's see if it boots, if I can connect now. Yes, I have to acknowledge the connection. Which is good. Yes, I now have to remove, but first I have to remove these files. But first, for safety, open a source code. Now that is safe. Remove all old files. Yes, great. Date is once again set to 2000 because of a depleted BIOS battery. So I have to set it to current date. And current time. And I'm using 09 because I am using 24-hour clock, which is standard on this most computers, by the way. Right, that is being set and done. I'm not going to try to run it, although I can. Now what I will do, so I will just run it once. See whatever picture I get of it, if any. Yeah. And that is one. That is a connection, gear connection, that is not good here. So, and unfortunately each time it's a different connection. I suspect a gear that is wrong. Anyway, that is the reason I'm going to model it again and simulate again. But now I have to display first TXT image 36. Oh wow. All blank? Seriously? Well, that's fixed nicely. That doesn't promise much for ooh, I've never had this one before. Yeah, premature end of JPEG file is one thing, but the rest, how is that possible? Oh boy. Okay, then the resolution, the result file is very bad as well, probably. Yeah, it's completely black. This is going from bad to worse, because so far I always had nice images. Ouch. Alright, so much for testing. And I should dive into it, but that's not my focus this time. And I have to investigate on this. My focus is modeling. So let's go there. Before going to modeling, I want to use RoboPro. I can't use it for taking images, because I'm using it via the Wine emulator, not on Windows, and the tab for the camera is only on Windows for some reason. So that is most unfortunate. This works. I would have here a tab for the camera, but like I said, that's not working. That is working, and that one is working. So, alright. But enough of that. Now I want Gazebo World to run nicely. Will it work? Go. Aha. Look at that. It did load. No doubt about that one. So I don't have to recreate things. Even stuff that I forgot to remove, like this. But let's see, where is the front? This is the front side, the motors, etc. So this is an actual model, but can it run? Well, that's another question, of course. But this is actually, this might be used for running the wheels, because that is what my focus is. And now, okay, collision joints, inertia contacts, etc. I am too far inside, so I need to take some distance, and this is a new version to me. So, alright, but I'm glad it loads. Now, next time, oh, by the way, let's compare this to how it looks different than Blender. And I already noticed this is black, which was my original, red, grey and yellow. How is Gazebo doing? Reddish, I see type of yellow. So the colors are a bit different, but the rest is there, although not quite connected, as you can see here. But then again, I have to do the metrics in Blender as well, because why do the tutorials to that tell me how to do the metrics, not well, they're not similar to how it works here, because if I follow it, I don't get to metrics. So, a few things to do. Metrics and get Gazebo model working. Alright, I to get the working. And if you know where to look and how to do it, it's easy, but that's always the case. Another thing is though, that when measuring this part, and that is equal to this yellow part, which I've used in these objects as well, the measurements in metrics are 12 centimeters by 1.5 by 1.5. Why those measurements? No clue, but that's the measurement of that single part. Then I also have to figure out which XYZ coordination system I have to use. So I tried some, and then I find it is this, which doesn't make sense, because if I turn it around, everything is equal except for this one. So you'll have 7, 7, 6, but with a digital here. So let's make the digital somewhat larger. And there the digital goes. So actually this doesn't make sense, because I want it in the other direction. So if I then go to another Euler direction, if that would make any sense at all, it doesn't just put it like that. So let's take it like this. But even then, I need apparently an X, and this is now in meters by now. So that's going to be a challenge. Either the whole model like this is way too large modeled, or my scaling is completely wrong. I don't know. Oh, unit scale. It's... Oh, that is a nice one. Wait, what does it say anyway? Oh, 1 point. Okay. Separate units. Alright. Oh, that's interesting. And metric is centimeters. Centimeters is metric. So I clearly had not expected this one to happen. Question is then, after so much work into this, how to continue? Do I zoom in? I expect to be able to zoom in, and then things are really out of perspective. Oh, this is now 1 centimeter. 5, yeah, well, okay. This is 1.5, and this is 1.5, and this is 1 meter something. So things are out of property, out of perspective. Ouch. How to fix this one? Not sure yet. If someone has a suggestion, I will be delighted to hear it, because this is going to take quite a bit of work. Another thing is, of course, in Gazebo you saw the model. I have to get back to that one. How to get it working. So, in Gazebo, it looks like everything kind of is different, because yes, I loaded my model according to the Collada system, creating a mesh, MESH, and you can import it into Gazebo. Can I simulate? Apparently not, because what I found is that this is considered as one body. No links, one body, and that is actually all. So yes, I can take some distance to it. I can even move it around a bit, and using my drawing pen I can do this, but can I edit all the separate entities? I'm afraid not. So what do I do? Well, I'm afraid I have to recreate the whole model inside Gazebo, and then according to the tutorials, it worked with ROS to control it. Now this is centered around this model, real model, and as far as I know, there has been or is an experiment going on with ROS on the TXT controller, but I have to look into that because I did not really expect this to happen. So my previous experience with ROS was with a model, robot arm, and how to get this working I have yet to find out, and considering the current state as one single body, I don't think that's going to work. Oops. So, of course, this one, Blender. Well, this, I looked into it and managed to find a comment that says yes, you can you can build things and using none for unit system. You can create things, of course, but if you want to use real life things, then it may be very much out of scale. And this is likely an example of that. So how to deal with that, or how to scale it, because that's another issue, of course. Can I scale things so that the dimensions look like this? Kind of. Hopefully. Blender is known as a very extensive program actually. And to dive into that takes time. But I hope this is easier to do than other stuff. So where am I at? Well, apart from this, I want to make another image because I do not get where that stuff all comes from. Yeah, this is the mesh, and currently, well, Gazebo only. So let's take another look at that. Or is that wise? Because the grinding of the gears is not very helpful. It's not very nice to do. So the problem here is when I take it carefully, that the inner, yeah, let me show it like this. The inner gears here, and yeah, bad lighting, but that's the way it is for now. The inner gears here seem not to be connecting nicely, and last time it was here, but now I heard it here. So how to deal with it? That is quite a different idea, and you can see that on each side it is exactly the same, on purpose of course, except for the guides. These things, these have to be stabilized. Here they are stable, and on this side back they are not stable, so I have to modify that. So I think, fortunately, well, or fortunately, things are not over. So yes, more to come. And with that, I say thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment or suggestion, much appreciated. You can also follow me via Instagram and Twitter. Please show your support by making a donation via PayPal or Wired. And you can also choose to become a patron, and depending on the pledge, you may have your name mentioned, which I would appreciate your donation and your patronage. Of course, to be continued. Have a nice day and bye bye. And of course, you can find my social media and website under this video to make things easy. Take a look on my website, much more information and projects there, as well as a lot of pictures. See you around.